Hello, this is Dan Ferrisi, Editor-in-Chief with Commercial Integrator. So happy to be joined this afternoon by Andy Herron, who is Product Director with WyreStorm. Thank you so much, Andy, for taking some time to chat with Commercial Integrator and me today.
Of course, Dan, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me.
So I want to talk a little bit about the education vertical. I know you're kind of a subject matter expert in that vertical in particular, and I want to start with your top line assessment of education. Where do you think it's going in terms of in-person learning versus virtual learning? Do you believe hybrid is the future of education, much like it seems to be for corporate enterprise?
Yeah, I think hybrid learning is definitely going to be embedded in society as we move forward. Obviously, this was largely driven by the pandemic, but after things calm down, I think it's paved the way for students and teachers to adopt new ways of teaching, and the technology to allow that to happen has taken strides in the last couple of years. And whether that's a hardware solution or a software solution. Even at a small scale, if you think about the hybrid learning. If a student were to get sick and can't come into class, there's an infrastructure that's in place now in a lot of different universities and K through 12 that, the student and the teacher can still interact that wasn't there before. And the technologies that WyreStorm have started to create and release to the market are, helping that to happen. So I definitely think that hybrid learning is going to continue to grow and become a normal.
I agree as well. I certainly think that is the trajectory, that is the trend. One thing I also want to talk about in terms of a trend is a focus on the experience. And we've been talking about experiences in commercial AV circles for a number of years now. That does not seem to have abated at all. People are still very much centering their thought process on that. So let's talk about that in the context of education settings. I'm talking about student experiences. I'm also talking about instructor experiences, which count as well. What is your perception of what both of those groups, discretely, students and instructors, want these days when it comes to their commercial AV?
Well, I think there are discrete experiences, but I think a lot of them can be very similar. I think WyreStorm's motto is a good example of the experience that an instructor and a student want. And that's something to be powerful, reliable, and simple. And that's what we at WyreStorm strive to try and do. These experiences need to be powerful. They need to have rich interactions between the student and instructor where there isn't sacrifices that need to be made that can lower the ability to convey a lesson or for somebody to understand that lesson. Reliability. We can't have hardware and software solutions that are failing, right? When something needs to happen, we need to have a hardware and software solution that's there, it's always going to be there, and it works as you expect without having to troubleshoot anything. And then simple, the ease of use is probably the most important thing. Limiting the time it takes to get signed on to a platform, to be able to share your screen and the content that you're trying to create or learn, or use the tools that these education applications require. So, powerful, reliable, and simple are the kinds of experiences that I think students and instructors want and what we're trying to provide.
Powerful, reliable, and simple. There's a melody to it, and there's a whole lot of truth to it. I think that's exactly what people want. So now that we have a pretty good sense of what kinds of experiences stakeholders are going for, what they're looking for, can you share some additional insights into WyreStorm solutions specifically, how WyreStorm solutions can help education institutions achieve exactly that, achieve those benchmarks that you just set forth?
Yeah, of course. Well, again, I think it gets back to those 3 points: powerful, reliable, and simple. If we take a look at our UC product line, which is primarily called Apollo. We have a couple other sub-brands, but we focus on Apollo. We design these products to really pack a punch and put as much into these solutions as we possibly can, while understanding at the same time, the requirements for these education use cases, while we're not trying to put features in there that are going to add to the cost that might not necessarily be something that's going to be used. So that's why we have four different series of products. We have everything from a small huddle space solution, a small team meeting, all the way up to large applications. But all these solutions, depending on no matter what series of product you get, they all have one commonality, and that's to be able to provide a solution for online learning. We've taken different technologies and put them all into one product. We've taken, for example, the AV extension. We've utilized HD-based T, which is for extending audio and video signals to the display. We've included wireless technologies like AirPlay and MirrorCast to be able to cast content without having to fumble with wires and a complicated setup. And all the way down to advanced AI. In a lot of our cameras, we have things like auto framing, which can zoom in and out depending on how many people are in a room. Or for education specifically, you can think about tracking, motion detection. So if an instructor is at the front of the room, our cameras can follow them as they walk about the room and pace and write on their whiteboards and smart boards and things like that. So, we only we try to only use trusted, tried and true technologies as well. So HD-based T for latency-free and compression-free signal extension. Trying to make things as autonomous as possible. If you use our Apollo line, we don't require you to have a complicated control system involved. Things like auto switching inputs, automatic display powering on and off when you plug something in or unplug it, driver-free installation. If you plug in a camera or speakerphone, you don't want to have to worry about downloading specific software in order to get that stuff to work. So all of that is helping instructors and students and in the education space to have those modern experiences.
Really, really informative answer. And there's a lot to unpack there. But the first thing I want to do is kind of look at it from a meta standpoint. Clearly, it seems to me at least, let me know if you would categorize it differently, but WyreStorm is kind of a total solution for education. It makes integrators' jobs easier by being a total solution. So can you talk a little bit about why it's valuable for integrators to have a go-to partner that can deliver reliable signal distribution and collaboration solutions for education spaces, kind of the one go-to partner that WyreStorm can be?
Yeah. I think it's two things. It's convenience and it's trust. We try to make it as painless as possible for an integrator to use our products, and a big part of that is to be able to provide all the components that would go into an education application. We have the Apollo product line that I just mentioned, but we have a lot more than that. We have a whole range of business-focused webcams. We have in-desk, in-table cable management, which has video pass-through and USB charging and mains connections. So it's a perfect pair with an Apollo switcher or any presentation switcher that we offer. But we also have things down to the little tiny add-ons that you might not think of right off the bat. Things like USB extension cables over optical. You're doing 50, 60, 70 feet of USB extension for 3.0. You need to expand how many ports you have. Okay, yeah, WyreStorm has a USB hub that you can use. If you have multi-format inputs, a lot of devices, there's you have HDMI, you have USB-C, maybe you even have some older legacy components that have VGA or mini DisplayPort. We have converters and adapters and all that stuff. So the convenience of being able to come to one place, but the trust is also that, because we've designed all these products and we pair them together, we can assure our customers that you're not going to have any problems. You're not going to have compatibility between components. Will this camera work with this presentation switcher? Will USB work over HD-based T? Will this camera do 4K? We have all that laid out, and we can guarantee that our products are going to provide a solution that's stable and convenient and is trustworthy.
And that's a really powerful value proposition. This goes without saying. We're seeing integrated technology in more spaces than ever before these days and serving more needs than ever before. So AVs not only in classrooms, but also in gathering spaces, hallways, offices. I could keep going down the list. We're also seeing more technology-driven wayfinding than in the past. Can you give us a sense of the growing opportunity for integrators when it comes to that?
Yeah, well, like you say, it's not just about classrooms. When it comes to UC products, it's great for any meeting space, whether that's a small huddle space, it's an education environment, it's a large corporate boardroom. We've designed our solutions we didn't want to pigeonhole our integrators into, this solution is only good for education. It's not good for corporate. It's not good for, hospitality, things like that. So we try to create solutions that, can expand an integrator's scope So maybe an integrator is focused on education and hasn't done much corporate. Well, Apollo solutions are great for both, and there's advantages for using Apollo or our UC products in each of those applications in different ways. So yeah, I mean, and even with the work from home environment as well, we have a ton of solutions for working from home, small webcams and speakerphones. So I think as integrators look at our product catalog and our solutions, they're going to find other opportunities without having to go to a different manufacturer. And WyreStorm can be that kind of one-stop shop that tailors to multiple verticals.
Well, I feel like I've learned a lot about the education vertical, and especially learned a lot about WyreStorm, its unique value proposition, its capacity to be a total solution. Is there anything that I've not teed you up to talk about that you would like to discuss, or that you think it would be important for commercial integrators audience to know?
Well, I think we're in the product development world. We're continually staying busy, and UC and education is one aspect of many different product catalog or categories that we have. A lot of people and a lot of customers, integrators know WyreStorm as providing an AV over IP solution and matrix solutions as well. And Network HD being our brand of AV over IP products, is one of our top selling, highest volume products that we manufacture. So we have done a lot of work this year and towards the end of last year to develop a whole new product catalog of AV over IP products, bringing them up to modern spec and introducing new features. So if you're not familiar with Network HD, or you are, and you want to know the new products that we're working on, we just released a brand new Network HD 500 series, which is a full 4K 60 solution over a 1 gig network. We just released brand new SDVOE enabled Network HD 600 products. So I would encourage anybody to check out our website and view Network HD.
Well, it's been a really, really informative 15 minutes, Andy. Thank you for investing this time to educate me, for investing this time to educate commercial integrators audience about WyreStorm, about its unique value proposition, about its core values as an organization. Once again, thank you to Andy Herron, Product Director with WyreStorm, for joining me today and for all the information. It was really informative.
Of course, and thank you again for taking the time to chat with me.
My name is Dan Ferrisi, Editor-in-Chief with Commercial Integrator. Please check back on commercialintegrator.com regularly for more great educational and informative content just like this. We'll see you soon.